From the Dignity Health Studio at the Bakersfield Californian, this is the Renegade Report with Greg Kerr. Now, here's Greg Kerr.
And welcome, everyone. I'm Greg Kerr. This is the Renegade Report. Happy to have you once again this week as we are going to talk all things Bakersfield College. Our thanks to the big boss, Louis Amestoy. Chris McCullough, who's been pushing the buttons and gets us ready every show, makes us look good. And, of course, Francis Mayer, who produces the show as well. Francis bringing in some interviews and sometimes steps in the chair himself. So that's good to have Francis on board each and every week. We're going to talk what's going on BC campus. And, we're sort of shifting in sports right now a little bit. And basketball is getting underway. The men now at 2-1 on the young season, and they will be back in action tomorrow on the road at West Hills with that 2-1 record. They will finally come home on the 28th. They have a Thanksgiving tournament where they will face the likes of Barstow, and they will also face Merritt College and Porterville. There will be a couple other schools there as well, Fullerton and L.A. Pierce, but it's already predetermined the opponents. It's the 28th through the 30th at the Gil Bishop Gymnasium, where, again, they will face a Barstow in round one, then it will be Merritt, and then they will face Porterville in those three games. So it'll be interesting to see how the Renegades do as they come home after the game against West Hills, which is, again, tomorrow. The BC women are off to a great start, 4-0. When we had Coach Paula Dahl in here a couple weeks back, she quite frankly said, this is going to be one of my best teams. And so far, so good, as they are off to a 4-0 start. They beat West Hills 80-68 in their most recent game. They will be hosting Taft this Saturday, again at the Gil Bishop Gymnasium. A Taft team, by the way, that they already beat this year. So, again, a great start for the Lady Renegades off to that 4-0 start. Meanwhile, turning to Carl Ferreira and his volleyball team as they pick up a win over Glendale, winning in 3 straight to finish 500 in conference. That was their final match last night. Again, a home match as they swept Glendale. So good news there for the Lady Renegades as they finish 500 in a conference play. Seeing the last of Courtney Grants, though. What a great season she had for BC. She finishes off her eligibility at Bakersfield College. Cross country, meanwhile, they will be in Fresno for state. That's coming up this weekend. And, of course, we've got a busy time coming up with wrestling as well. Wrestling will be at East LA, and then it's the regionals in state. In fact, in doing so, we will talk to one of the guys that's just leading the way for the Renegades. And quite frankly, the team record really not indicative of how well these guys have wrestled because they've had a lot of injuries, a lot of forfeits. They didn't even go to one tournament in San Francisco because of those injuries and getting ready for their own conference championships. But one guy that has just led the way, he is a product from Frontier High School, and that is Jack Murphy, and he is with us right now. So, Jack, happy to have you with us.
Thank you.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about your season so far. You're undefeated, and, we were talking, as they like to say in the green room, we were talking about how you started the season a little bit under the radar, and now you're number one. So let me ask you, what is the difference between being the hunter and being the hunted?
Well, at first when I showed up being a hunter, nobody knew who I was. I showed up to that Modesto tournament, and nobody had a clue. Maybe some of the coaches probably recognized me from high school, but they had no idea what I did my freshman year, going up to Minot State, learning a little bit from Division II NCAA. And then I show up in the semifinals. I ranked the number one dude in my weight class, beat him 3-1, and the whole crowd's just like, who is this guy? Like, where did he come from?
Right.
Kind of played the little hiding in the shadow game last year when I redshirted up at Bakersfield College. And now since I'm number one, now I'm being hunted. Everybody's coming after me like with a vengeance. That the Mount San Antonio College kid came after me. We wrestled again. Our second match went to double overtime. His coaches are helping him out with how to wrestle me and everything, teaching him, giving him a strategy. And he's just been really patient, really close match. But ever since I became number one, everybody's been coming after me with a new fire.
As physical as wrestling can be, how mental is it?
It is very mental. It's one of the most mentally tough sports in the world. In fact, I believe Sports Center did a little ranking on it. I think wrestling is ranked third behind ice hockey, but I doubt that ice hockey is way tougher than wrestling. I mean, The worst part of wrestling mentally is the weight cut. The weight cut affects you mentally because some wrestlers just so happen to do it at the wrong time. They try doing it at the last second, and believe it or not, how that can mentally mess you up. I've seen a lot of people break just because of the weight cutting.
Yeah, and also from the mental standpoint, if I could, and that would be because you are number one and you say you're the hunted down people coming at you. What's it like when you get on the mat knowing everybody wants a piece of you?
The moment I get on the mat and I shake their hand, I look at my opponent. He's like on his toes, ready to just shoot out right after me, right when the ref blows the whistle. And I talked to it with my coach. I got to be ready every single match. Everybody's going to come after me, especially when regionals and state comes up. Every match is going to be tough. I got to battle through it, keep the number one seed. Number one seed will be my best pathway into the state finals this year.
Yeah, now you mentioned briefly Minot. We were sort of laughing, why not Minot? That would be North Dakota for people who don't know. I actually drove through Minot once in the middle of the night, but I saw it and I heard the slogan. Do they even have a sign that says "Why not Minot"?
I don't believe they do.
No, but I remember hearing it. Maybe it was on the radio when I was driving through. But you went there briefly. What was that like, both not only the wrestling part of it, but just the lifestyle part of it?
It was very cold. I mean, I was stuck in a freshman hall in the dorms and, barely keeping together any food I can get other than my meal plan in the cafeteria. Mm-hmm. In fact, I believe that we were trapped inside the dorms due to a blizzard. The ice sealed the door shut, and we couldn't get away. I had to live off one of my roommates' little box of pizza. It was it's a pretty strange day.
Yeah, and for people, I mean, come on, Bakersfield, we have 110 degrees, and we're complaining about the summer. I lived in Montana for a year, and so it's pretty much the same as North Dakota.
Oh, yeah.
For people who think cold is Tehachapi, which it is, but this is a whole nother level of cold. We're talking wind chill can get down to 20 to 40 below.
Oh, yeah. The worst I experienced was 30 below zero. I had so many layers of clothes on. I could not handle that. That was way too cold. That was the coldest I've ever experienced my whole life.
Yeah. Now, let's go back. I mentioned Frontier High School. We have some video of you at State. I want to show you this here. As I don't remember the guy it was. Here it is right here. If you look at the monitor, you actually ended up pinning this guy like in a minute and 2 seconds. What was the state experience for you like? I know as a junior you said you were 0-2, but you came back and almost finished in the top 8 as a senior. But what was state like for you?
State for me, well, my junior year, it was a great experience. It allowed me to see some real competition and start to grow to the next level of wrestling because wrestling in my sophomore year and being a JV league champ, I had to step up and realize, okay, I'm going to be on varsity next year. The starter at 189s is leaving. I got to step up to the plate. I got to be that guy for Frontier High School. And I go to state. I go 0-2. I ran into the guy seated second in the state tournament my first round. He kind of caught me with a head and arm, and it was just an ugly match. And then I lost my second match. My senior year, I come back. I made it all the way to be in 7th seed in state, only to fall short because my losses were against the 2nd and 3rd seed in the tournament. Mm-hmm. In fact, those guys are wrestling for Division I schools. I lost to some pretty tough guys. Just what seems to be fate.
Yeah, sometimes the draw is the draw, right?
Oh yeah.
But having said that, too, I'm thinking about and what you've accomplished, and I think even though Stephen Neal wrestled at heavyweight. I'm looking at this. You haven't given up an offensive point this season, correct?
No, I have not.
Okay. So you're undefeated. No one's scored on you offensively. They've had a few escapes here and things of that nature, but that's been it. And Stephen was pretty much that way when he was over at Cal State Bakersfield. Nobody scored on this guy. And he finished 5th at state. He wasn't like Mr. Everything coming out of state. You even coming out of high school and state a little bit under the radar. And look what you've done. So where's the transition and where's Jack Murphy sort of exploded onto the scene from high school to college? What's happened there?
Well, I believe that certain wrestlers peak at a certain point of their careers. Like, I didn't peak in high school. I had amazing coaches over at Frontier, but I just did not peak in my wrestling career. Mm-hmm. In fact, I still believe that I haven't. Like, I still believe I have a lot more to learn. I have way more to go. And I really think that my peak for my wrestling career has not showed up yet. It'll show up in the near future, hopefully.
We got a couple minutes left. Let's just talk about what's on the horizon. Of course, East LA. I know you're sort of just gonna. You never take anything for granted. I realize that,
Right.
but really the carrot out there is then regionals and state. Talk a
Yes.
little bit about, especially since you have coaches who have won state here at Bakersfield College. What's it like to have coaches who have been there, done that, as you get ready to try to do it yourself?
It allows me to notice how the fight for state's going to be. Brett Clark, our head coach, is a state champ. Wrestling him kind of gives me the feel, even though, yeah, he was a state champ at heavyweights. The size difference,
Yeah.
I just wish that maybe they were closer to my size, so I'd have like the best of workout partners, even though they already are, even
Right.
besides the weight difference. But Coach Clark is a really good workout partner. So is Joe Espejo, our grappling specialist over there. And our co-head coach, Coach Markey, even though he's 30 pounds lighter, 40 pounds lighter even, just working with him, he's a very quick guy. In fact, I prefer working out with Coach Austin because being on my feet with him is really important for me, being able to work and enhance my speed.
Right.
While when it comes to Clark and Coach Espejo, it's all about technique and being smart with my tie-ups.
Right. You know, wrestling is such a unique sport from the standpoint that your coaches get out there and do it with you. You know, football coaches don't put on a helmet and go try to sack the quarterback or make a tackle.
Yeah.
Basketball coaches generally don't do anything, maybe shoot around a little bit before practice. Baseball coaches don't, hit. But wrestling coaches, those guys never die, do they?
Oh, yeah. No, they come after you no matter how old they are. I mean,
So to wrap this up in terms of just as you look at this season, I know there's the Mount Sac guy out there. Maybe a little dip after him. So 1 and 2, you expect to see the guy from Mount Sac in the finals, both regionals and state?
yes.
So talk a little bit about him. I know you say that he's going to be more patient and he's going to wait for you to make a mistake. But what about your strategy when it comes to facing him if that's the guy you see?
I got to get a takedown and finish. That's what he's looking for. He's looking for me to make a mistake. Probably I'll be in on a shot and I won't be in as tight as I want to. And he's got heavy hips. What he'll do is he'll just use his defense and try to hopefully make sure that I make a mistake or if I get bellied out and he can just score behind. My goal is to get to a leg and finish strong. If I finish strong and get a takedown, I believe the match is mine because I've trained enough and conditioning. Coach Austin and Coach Clark and Coach Espejo have gotten our team very conditioned. Like we're one of the best conditioned teams in the state, I believe. And just that one, maybe 2 takedowns. If I get 2 takedowns, the match is mine.
Okay.
Like he'll break just like the Quested kid did when I wrestled him. It just get that first takedown is what's going to be the set of the match, I believe.
All right. Well, Bakersfield College wants another state champion. We look like we might be looking at him. I know you never take anything for granted or look ahead, but certainly it's the 6th of December. You got regionals, and then it's the 11th through the 13th state, which I think is on the coast of in San Luis area.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So best of luck to you, Jack. And 16-0, he has not allowed a single point offensively. Jack Murphy, Frontier High graduate, and now here at Bakersfield College. Wishing him the best. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Jeff Judy's in. We'll see you in a moment.